Well, y'all, how about this? Would you like to have your taxpayer dollars pay to give rich folks EV chargers so they don't have to have anxiety, range anxiety? Look, the last thing we want is to have high-end, high-income, wealthy areas to not have a charging station. Now, I don't own an EV. You probably don't. Most Americans don't. But a lot of these rich folks do. And we need to take care of them. They need us. This is part of Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act. And he cares about it's it's not going to reduce inflation, but it's for poor people and environmental justice. And certainly these high-end areas of this is in numerous elite hangouts and locales, the Wall Street Journal or Daily Caller says. Montauk, Fishers Island, New York, parts of Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket, Massachusetts. By the way, that's where former President Hussein Obama and Mrs. Hussein Obama live. And they need chargers too. You know? Now, they're afraid of the sea level rising, but they live on the sea in both Martha's Vineyard and also in Hawaii, but they swear the sea levels are rising because of the environment. And we just don't want the Hussein Obama family to have low energy in their EVs. So I'm in. There's got to be somebody that's poor on that island. I know the Hussein Obama family's house is worth like 30 or 50 or 70 million, but dang it, there's got to be somebody on there. I know that his servants can't afford EVs, most likely, but he needs those EV chargers. So let's do it. It's going to reduce inflation somehow and bring environmental justice somehow. What if a poor person with a $65,000 EV is driving through Martha's Vineyard and needs a charge? We need to help them. This is Joe's plan with your money and my money. The administration classifies these elite hangout places, Nantucket, Montauk, Fishers Island, New York, Martha's Vineyard, as low income and eligible for EV charger subsidies. Daily Caller News Foundation found. It's amazing. Here's what the White House said January 19th. This tax credit provides up to 30% off the cost of charger to individuals and businesses in low-income communities. We're going to subsidize chargers in their millionaire mansions. Low income. Low income. To meet the low-income definition, there's some yada-yada stuff in here, but it's so funny. Half of the landmass in Nantucket Island, one of the richer summer vacation destinations, is eligible for EV chargers. Oh, baby, it's a day to get excited. The plebes are paying for our chargers.
Oh, Hercules, 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 Hercules.
This is why we vote in Biden. To give us free chargers and make the plebes pay for it. Yes! Who's with me? Are you in? All right, here's my questions for you. I want you to call in right now at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Chime in right now. Do you support your tax dollars going to pay for affluent areas or fluent areas to get subsidies for EV chargers? Are you in on this? Are you with me? Who's with me? And do you think doing this will help reduce inflation or at least help the environment? He says this is to reduce inflation and to help the environment. What do you say? Who's in? Are you in? Do you support this? Paying for affluent areas to get subsidies for EV chargers. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Sound off right now, y'all. The entirety of Fishers Island, New York, is deemed low-income area eligible for subsidies. The island is, quote, an exclusive enclave where generations of old money families gather to sail and golf. We're funding old money weekend homes. Joe Biden's vacation home places. We're funding their EVs. Yes. Old money families. According to the Wall Street Journal, they sail and golf. Here's more from the Journal editorial board. That was from the Daily Caller. This is for And also it's going into beautiful, wealthy areas in San Francisco, Los Angeles. Here we go. In San Francisco, we're buying EVs for the rich folks, where on Zillow, the houses have an average market a value above $2 million. Los Angeles, one area in Beverly Hills, the renowned area of Beverly Hills, where there's $2 million properties as well, and $1 million and $2 million, well above $1 million, the Daily Caller says. And this is in between the Los Angeles Country Club, Brentwood Country Club. That's where OJ lived until he got until he killed his wife and her lover. And Bel Air Country Club. They get subsidies from you and me. Are you in? Come on, Will Smith's parents, or his auntie and uncle in Bel Air. Yo, home, smell you later, as he said to the cabbie. All right, y'all, what do you say? Are you in? Do you want this? Do you want your tax dollars going to pay for affluent areas to get subsidies for EV chargers? And do you think this is going to help to reduce inflation, or at least help the environment? 800-288-WBAP. Chime in now, 800-288-9227. Treasury defines low-income community as a census tract with a poverty rate of at least 20%, or where median family income doesn't exceed 80% of the metropolitan area's median family income. That means many areas. New York City, San Fran, Bay Area. Los Angeles will qualify for the credit even if they live in the neighborhoods that are relatively less wealthy than nearby communities. Manhattan's Times Square. Lots of people that are poor live there. Well, they do, but on the streets. And they don't have EVs. They live on the streets. But that's okay. Shh. Treasury is rewriting the rules on green energy tax credits, the Journal says, left and right, so it can hand out more subsidies. It has let more EVs qualify for the $7,500 tax credit by easing the IRA, Inflation Reduction Act, contributions on material sourcing, because China is supplying all this. And all the rare earth minerals come from China. And to extract the rare earth minerals, they got to pull like 2,000 pounds out for a couple pounds of rare earth minerals to make the batteries. And they use fossil fuels day and night to extract this. So they're burning gas, oil, diesel, whatever it is, and their coal-fired plants to provide energy. They put one new coal-fired plant on in China a week while we're shutting ours down, which is filthy, disgusting, wrong. But this is not environmentally friendly. The battery is the size of the car. Once it's done, it gets buried underground. There's nothing you can do with it. You can't recharge it. It's useless. It's about $25,000 for a nice Tesla battery. It's $14,000 for a little tiny Nissan Leaf. A family bought one for their daughter who's in college in Florida, and they bought it for $12,000. And it had maybe, and they said 70 or 80,000 miles on it, or 90,000 miles on it. Let her have it for 5-6 years as her first college car. And wouldn't you know it, within 6 months they had to buy a new battery, and it was $14,000 for the battery, even though the car they bought it for $11,000. They had no idea. There's the future, and we're subsidizing it. So obviously my answer is absolutely not. By the way, speaking of EV and EV plants, China, it has that Michigan EV plant that the governor wants because she loves our enemies. You heard today the Chinese intelligence folks have planted viruses all over, and malware and stuff to destroy our grids, our pipelines, to make chaos and ruin our society while they're at war with us if it should happen, embedding it already. They're the top threat, and Joe allows them to come in. And guess what Leon Panetta said today, the former CIA director? He warned today that China may use that Michigan EV plant for espionage. Now, he is a liberal Democrat. He was on the Hussein Obama. So he was a CIA director and defense secretary formerly. And he says that, yes, there's no question they're going to take advantage of that situation. We're going to have to be very vigilant about what the hell's going on. He said that's just the way they operate. They establish a manufacturing unit. They'll establish what they can. They will use that for their own intelligence purpose. They will use that for their own economic purposes. They'll gain the advantage that are counter, frankly, the interests of the United States. Very important in those situations to make sure that our intelligence capabilities are being used to make sure they know what they're doing that could hurt the United States. Good job, Joe. We're subsidizing all this. China steals from us, destroys us, and subjugates us, and then eventually will rule over us. But don't worry, you and Hunter got your millions. You've sold us out. Thank you, Joe. And they're not environmentally friendly. EVs get their power from natural gas plants that power the grids. It's fossil fuel. And natural gas is great, but Joe's trying to kill that too. This is all a sick joke and a disaster and a boondoggle for rich folks, not us. All right, coming up next on the Chris Crock Show, Biden is finally visiting East Palestine, Ohio. He's Johnny on the spot, isn't he? About a year late, so I guess he's Joey on the spot. That's next. All right, dudes. Joe Biden announcing he's going to bless East Palestine, Ohio with his presence 1 year, more than a year after the disaster, the worst natural spill, the worst disaster in America last year that I could think of.
About 4 weeks ago, the East Palestine mayor released a statement about this possibly happened. The president is always welcome to our town, he said. That being said, I don't know what he would do here now. We're going on a year and nothing from the White House. The best time for him to come would be February of 2025 when he's on his book tour. Kelly Saberi of Fox Business caught up with him after the news today. Take a listen.
I wrote a letter to him about a month ago saying that, I think he needed to come. And I was gracious in the letter. I think he needs to see what's going on here.
Do you still stand by that comment about the book tour?
I 100% stand by the comment about the book tour. I think that's the best time for him personally is, his Joe Biden. That's the best time for Joe Biden to come. I think the best time for him to come would have been whenever this happened.
So the mayor making his feelings clear. About 4 weeks ago, the East Palestine.
It's Brett Baer on Fox News. And then we have this.
The president had always said that he would go when it is most helpful to the community. And with this invitation, obviously, very recent, and the current status of the recovery, we felt that the time was right. There's no date yet, but obviously we're working with community leaders, we're working with the mayor, elected officials to find the exact time and day to go in February.
Let me pause it right there for a second. We'll finish it in a minute. Why do you think, I want to hear from you right now. Sound off now at 800-288-WBAP. Why didn't he go sooner? Why didn't Joe Biden go sooner? Why is he always late? Is it too late in your opinion or smart move, Joe? You're a smart one. Joey on the spot. And do you think this timing sums up his failed presidency as I do? And what do you think President Biden stands to gain from going to the disaster area in East Palestine, Ohio, where the train derailed, spilling all those toxic chemicals 12 months after it happened? You know why he didn't go, by the way? He was afraid of the chemicals. Screw you. You sit in it. I ain't going by that. That literally is why I believe he didn't come. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Chime in right now at 800-288-9227. Why didn't Joe Biden go sooner to East Palestine, Ohio? Why is he always late? Is it too late or smart move? I can't imagine anybody saying it's a smart move. It's pathetic. It reminds us about he didn't care for over a year. He doesn't care. It's a ruby red area that voted for Trump like 65 or 85% or something, from my recollection. And what do you think President Biden stands to gain from going here a year later, after all those chemicals spilled and when they needed them, when it counted? What do you say? 800-288-WBAP is our number. This guy's a moron. I mean, he literally is showing everybody how much he doesn't care. This is ridiculous. I think he would have been better off never going. It was not in our memory anymore. This is absolute stupidity. Oh, I'm going to guess. You never know, right? Because he is the president, but regardless of who it is. But I'm going to guess a lot of people are going to be boycotting him, either not show up or boycotting him and yelling at him and holding up signs. Where the hell were you a year ago?
It's not going to be about politics. It's not about being in a red state or a blue state. You hear us say this over and over. You hear from the president over and over again because he wants to make sure that he's there for this community.
He is such a leader. He's leading from behind a year late. What do you say? Is this good? You think it's a smart move or is it too late? And why do you think he didn't go sooner? Why is he always late? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I want to hear from you right now on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. What do you think he stands to gain from going to the disaster area a year later after that train derailed and spilled all those chemicals in East Palestine, Ohio? What the hell? This is insane. This is ridiculous. It's estúpido. I literally would have told him, don't go. Everybody's forgotten about it. Don't go.
You guys are being ridiculous.
is ridiculous. Here we go from the Daily Mail today. Biden to finally visit East Palestine a year after the toxic train derailment devastated an Ohio community. Dude, a year late. If you go a year afterwards, it should be a follow-up from a year ago. What the heck? Here is another guy on the streets there. I don't know if it's I think it might be an official. Listen.
The American people have awakened to realize that the leader of our country did not show up to the greatest catastrophe of 2023. And now he's going to show up because it is an election year. He better have a wagon full of answers and a wagon full of good news for us, because otherwise, why are you coming at this point? Why are you showing your face, if not just to try to sway votes and try to get back in office?
This is really embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for him. I would have told him, do not go under no circumstances if I was his advisor. Why would you basically throw a banner out in front of everybody for 24 to 48 hours and say, I'm coming a year late, I'm coming a year late, I'm here when you don't need me anymore? It's just pathetic. It's amazing how stupid this guy is. It really is. And the people around him. But they do check off all the boxes like her, I suppose. So that's all that matters, right? Not to me, but nonetheless. Okay, coming up next, I want to get into Tay-Tay. Taylor Swift. Is it possible this is all a psyop and that they're brainwashing us? She's brainwashing us into voting for Joe Biden. And is it true that what Megyn Kelly said today about soon Taylor Swift will be torn from her pedestal? All that next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Good morning. Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
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 Taylor Swift is not a psyop. Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
Taylor Swift is not a psyop. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Well, what do you think? Is she a psyop? Okay, producer Garrett says not a psyop, but a psycho. Here we go. We have conspiracy theorist. Conspiracy theorist, conservatives fear Taylor Swift is trying to brainwash, all caps, Americans into voting for Biden. As Megyn, that spelling is terrible, isn't it? Megyn. As Megyn Kelly predicts Star will soon be torn from her pedestal. She has previously slammed Swift's behavior at the Golden Globes and for supporting a comedy show that raised money for Palestine, for Gaza. There's no such thing as Palestine. Some conservatives believe that she will brainwash Americans into voting Democrat as Joe Biden wants her endorsement for 2024. Dude, she gave her endorsement with that plate of Biden cookies. Remember that? So why in God's name would she not do it again? I mean, she doesn't see these illegals stabbing and killing each other or punching and robbing clerks all over New York City. And I'm sure she certainly didn't see the 8 illegals that Joe brought in that are beating the hell out of our cops not in broad daylight, but in the streets when they're doing their jobs. So this ain't no big deal. And she's hopeful that maybe some of these illegals will work on one of her properties, probably, right? I mean, she loves to give them jobs, and she loves what Joe's doing. Everything this country is having done to it by Joe, she loves. I mean, that's because look, wouldn't you love a guy who's getting you subsidies for EV chargers in your neighborhood when you're rich? I mean, that's who she is, and that's who he is. So, no, come on. She's I'm not surprised at all about that. But she can't brainwash anybody for Joe Biden. Come on. Well, what do you mean? No, she did not. Here's why I'll say okay, here. Now, producer Garrett said, well, she did in 2020. Do you really think Taylor Swift got Joe Biden elected? I mean, we're talking, 60,000 votes or 40,000 votes in a couple of swing states? He says maybe not, but something happened. Well, I'll tell you this. COVID happened, and Trump, was his own worst enemy. So that's why he didn't get the job. And, whoa, no. My gosh, I'm leaving out a gaping hole. Joe Biden rigged the media and made got the CIA, and it appears they paid their former operatives to be on. They were still on their payroll, and they had 51 of them sign a lie that said that the laptop was Russian disinformation and all this stuff. I mean, so how did he win? He won it through controlling the social media, including Twitter at the time. He ran it. He won it by getting his Democrat friends in Pennsylvania and other states to change the laws, have its partisan Supreme Court support things that were absolutely unconstitutional on voting. It was a series of things, but it wasn't Taylor Swift. So that's just not true, in my opinion. I think it's stupid. I think I think it's funny to say she's a psyop. I think that's absolutely hysterical. And I think she has no bearing on whether or not Joe Biden gets elected. And I actually kind of think she should endorse Joe because it's funny to laugh at her for it. All right, so what do you think here? 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227 is our number. I want you to chime in right now at 800-288-9227. Do you think Taylor Swift could brainwash people into voting for Joe Biden? Or at least an amount that would be a serious threat in the swing states? And do you think she'll be torn from her pedestal soon, as Megyn Kelly says? I'll tell you about that, too. Our number, again, is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Sound off right now. Love to hear from you. She says that she will be torn down from her pedestal soon. And I got to tell you on that, I think that that's true. Because right now, her crap doesn't stink. She walks on water, and people tremble at her and swoon over her, and the NFL is humping her leg gratuitously and is making billions or hundreds of millions more. But what people love to do is build somebody up and then tear them down. Can you name somebody that they haven't built up and torn down and danced on their graves and had fun with it? That's humanity. So I think that Megyn Kelly is right, that indeed she will be torn down from her pedestal in the near future. So somehow, some way, and I don't wish it on her, but it's going to happen. That's how it happens with people, particularly when their crap doesn't stink. So that's my prediction as well. How about you? Do you actually think Taylor Swift could brainwash people into voting for Joe Biden, as the Daily Mail says? And do you think she'll be torn from her pedestal? We should probably hit the PSYOP thing again, shouldn't we? It's just too good. Here we go. It's possible. Is she a PSYOP?
Good morning. Taylor Swift is not a PSYOP.
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 Taylor Swift is not a PSYOP. Taylor Swift is not a PSYOP.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Oh, there you go. I love that. It's on my Twitter feed if you want to share that. I didn't do it. I wish I did, but it's on my Twitter feed, at Chris Crock Show. You got to follow me, man. There's a lot you're missing out on if you're not following me. At Chris Crock Show, ChrisKrock. That's ChrisKrock, at Chris Crock Show. And also on Twitter, on Twitter, but also on Facebook as well. So just click on the public figure, click like, and scroll around, jump in, and share away. Now, how about this one? $1,500 dimpleplasties. What is a dimpleplasty? Can you take a guess? I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute. It's a new hot plastic surgery trend. I think it is a cry for mental health. Cry to get mental health care, to get you checked in, get some psychological help if we want this. I'll tell you about that coming up next on the Chris Crock Show. And then, we got some short stories that are just, some are fun, some are not so fun, but they're great. Tragic base jumper's fatal mistake. What when you hear of a base jumper making a fatal mistake, that's going to be bad, right? It's not going to go well. Base jumpers are the one that jump off buildings and stuff. This one didn't go too well. Also, I love this. UAW and the Teamsters, Trump versus Biden. Oh my gosh, you guys, Kathy Griffin, the one who had the failed comedian who held the severed head of fake severed head of President Trump up while he was president. Oh, dude, we got so much stuff to get. How about a 46-year-old Walt Disney World pass? Worked. It got you in. It was a golden ticket. All that's next to the Chris Crock Show at News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Remember, this is not a psyop. Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. $1,500 dime dimpleplasties. It's dimples. I don't know why people pierce their cheeks. That's gross. Distraction. And I don't know why people would want to put dimples in the middle of their cheek when they don't have them. Dude, you're ruining your face. It does not look good. It doesn't look right. It never looks good. And then you need to do more because you're like, it's just not right. And you do more and more. Leave your dang face alone. Can I tell you something? I am watching a series right now. It's a really fantastic. It's in its 4th season right now. It's been going on for probably 8 years or 9 years or 10 years. So it's spaced out because they have top actors doing it. It's called True Crime or True Detectives. That's it, True Detectives, and it's on HBO. 1 year had Woody Harrelson and I think Matthew McConaughey. I can't remember. Something like that. It had Woody Harrelson and another real big one that was really good. That was a great one. But it also had just a whole bunch of different ones. This year is like megastar, in my opinion, even though you might think she has been. I don't think so at all. Jodie Foster. Dude, she hasn't been... she literally may not have done anything for the past 10 years. For as far as I know, she hasn't. But maybe she has. I have nothing negative to say about her. I think she's an awesome actress. Now, she has a wrinkly face and a wrinkly neck, but she still is a good-looking woman, and I admire her for being one of the only women in Hollywood that didn't get plastic surgery. That woman controls her freaking life. I admire her a lot. A lot. And I'm like, way to go. And sometimes the wrinkles can be a little off-putting because she's got some deep ones. But I'm also like, good. I'm not watching the series because I want you to be half naked and hot. I'm watching it because it's a freaking great series. And it is. Don't butcher yourself. You look like you're messed up when you do it. Your face is crooked. It looks nasty. I've never seen a good one. Even if a $500 millionaire, whatever you call it, or a $20 million millionaire has plastic surgery, and you can tell, and it sucks, which almost all of them do, like Nicole Kidman's is horrible, then why would you want to do it to yourself? Because you ain't going to get anybody better than them. Unless you have the money to do it, and they have the money, and they still look bad. So, no, rather than settle for potentially dangerous DIY methods. Yeah, remember Wee Wee? South Dallas, Wee Wee! They got Wee Wee! Remember Wee Wee? Remember what she was doing? She was going to Home Depot and getting that caulk, the clear caulk, or a silicone caulk, and was putting it in women's butts. In the south side of Dallas, she opened her own little clinic injecting poison into people's butts to give them wee-wee butts. Wee-wee killed somebody, so then wee-wee's in jail right now. I can't believe they got wee-wee. They got wee-wee! That was her nickname, and all I do is love talking about Wee Wee whenever she comes up naturally, and here she is. Dude, this is just stupid. It's $1,500 or more for permanent cosmetic surgery. As I get to 40, I have someone say I have a cheeky smile is a big confidence boost. Oh, dude, seriously? Get counseling and go to God. That's how you get a big confidence boost. That's it. Okay, let's see here. We got a bunch of good ones. I want to get to this one. Let's see. No. Hold on. Where did it go? Here we go. Sorry, I got a little messed up here. Tragic base jumper's fatal mistake. Brother of fun-loving British daredevil 33 reveals tragic error which left no chance his parachute would open. If he knew he was jumping off of a building at 29 stories with no parachute, would he have done it? This guy has jumped off so many buildings, apparently, and this time he jumped it off with confidence, and he literally went to pull the chute, and he just freaking died. Isn't that sick? Don't do it, dude. Don't do it, dudes. Dudettes. It's not worth it. Dude, final image that he posted is his tattooed for Daredevil's Instagram. Blah, blah, blah. Scene angled forwards with his arm pointing up behind him as he whips through the air. I saw him jump off, and I'm like, oh my, you don't see him splatter. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's just like, that's terrifying. And he's not knowing it, so he's all like, yeah, here we go. There you go for good, unfortunately. Not a big deal. Rank and file auto workers are bucking UAW Biden endorsements, saying they can think for themselves, Daily Caller reports. Here's one guy who's been an hourly worker at Ford's Sterling plant in Sterling Heights, Michigan for 30 years. Here's Trump voters in Michigan. He's been a UAW member the whole time. He told he told them that members he works with are independent thinkers who support their union representation. The endorsement of Biden's not a big deal to me because I can think for myself and I'm not alone. I can figure out the ballot on my own. Many of my coworkers and I see the Biden administration as hostile to American auto industry and thus the interests of UAW members. Worse, we see the policies of Democrats as hostile to both middle-class Americans and certainly our families. Here's a guy that has been a UAW member for 27 years in Michigan and at the Ford Sterling Axle plant, noting that he does not consider himself a Republican, but rather an America First Trump supporter. And then Trump today it came out that he met with the Teamsters. And I can't remember exactly what he said. I might be able to pull it up on the fly here. Because it was really awesome. He just freaking punked Joe and all them. Yeah, it was just great. Let's see if I can pull up the what do you call it? The text of it. I pulled it up here, but he is earning their vote. He goes here, just so we had a meeting with the Teamsters, one of the biggest problems they have is millions of people are pouring into the country. That's a killer for the Teamsters, and I'm going to stop it. That's why the Teamsters support me, I think, he says. Now I don't know if the top people will support me. We got to have to find it out, but within the union itself, I have tremendous support. He just took him to town. I can't remember what he said, but it was beautiful this afternoon. I was pumping my fist in my kitchen with him and what he said. Basically, he's like, Joe has lost all the union jobs. He sent them out of this country. I will bring them back in. He said it in his punk way. It was awesome. It was beautiful, actually. Kathy Griffin is begging for you to buy her tickets. The failed leftist comedian who had a fake Trump head severed and took a picture of herself. It's all about the tour, man, she says in a public post. Just freaking get me to opening night in Des Moines. There you go. She's begging for Des Moines, Iowa. My gosh, woman, have you fallen? And Omaha is not selling well. Omaha is not selling well. Wow. She's hitting the big time. Des Moines and Omaha. I need comedy fans to come out and see me in Kansas City. Come on. She's begging her folks to buy her tickets. Wow. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? That's very interesting. I need comedy fans to come see me in Kansas City. Come on, I need sellouts. I've been through so much crap since my last tour. She's friends with E. Jean Carroll, the crazed lady who says rape is sexy and got $83 million out of Trump. They have photos of themselves together. She is divorced. She got her lips tattooed, and she's begging you to buy her clothes or her tickets. She's suffering from PTSD, she says, because of the enormous backlash from when she had the replica of bloodied severed head of President Trump. Well, ma'am, you caused it on yourself. You're a fool. That poor fool, huh?